We shall be talking about some very important topics. I will start with the second hour, which will be discussing sustainable construction, considering that the construction industry has quite a major impact on the environment. What is the industry doing to ensure that construction is sustainable? And in the first hour, we want to talk about matters microfinance in Kenya, how this industry is growing, the challenges it faces, as well as how to ensure that it achieves its potential. To have this conversation is Laban Hehu. He is the CEO of Jitegemea Credit. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Karibu sana. Yeah. Could you just paint a picture for us of how the microfinance sector is in Kenya?
Thank you very much. Maybe I want to start by saying that microfinance sector serves mostly the informal sector. And the informal sector, in our case, we have about 15 million Kenyans, or 15 million individuals who are in employment in the informal sector. Therefore, the microfinance sector is a very important sector because it helps in creation of incomes for those that are considered the lower of the pyramid. And I want to say that the challenges are many in the microfinance sector. One of the challenges that we have is lack of funding, the sustainability of the microfinance the players. Why this challenge? There has been a lot of lack of funds. They do not have funds because most of them were created as impact funds to do business. But along the way, those that were supporting dropped, and therefore they were left alone. And therefore, they are not able to have the finances to do the business. That is one of the biggest challenges that we have in the microfinance sector. The other thing is that we also serve a sector that is considered very risky sector. The informal sector, people who do not have collateral, but we have to serve them. There are people who do not have records in their business, therefore they do not have credit history, and that is the reason why the commercial banks cannot serve them, and therefore these are challenges that affect the microfinance sector, because you are working with a sector where there is, or rather people who do not have collateral with them to guarantee their loans, and that risk is actually transferred to the microfinance players. They do not have records to prove that they can be creditworthy. And that is, again, the reason why they are not able to be served by commercial banks. But we have to serve them.
Yes.
So these are some of the challenges that we have in the microfinance sector.
Right. I like that you've brought up the issue of the clientele that you're dealing with. Yes. They excuse me, they have very unique challenges. And so for the microfinance sector, is there a way to ensure sustainability, because these people still have to access credit, but at the same time, microfinance institutions have to, excuse me, microfinance institutions still have to make a profit. It's a business. So how do you ensure a balance there?
We are able to do a balance. First and foremost, we are able to, how we work with these clients, we incubate them. And by incubation, I mean, we train them, we ensure that they are properly trained, we ensure that they are able to do business properly, so that they can be able to, we can be able to overcome the challenges that they have of not having records and all that. So we ensure that we train them to have records for their businesses. We also ensure that their businesses, we follow up their businesses so that they can be able to do business and do it properly. So we are a sector that work with the client, not just having a business, with them, giving them loans and leaving them out. We ensure that they do business and do it well by training them, by working with them along the way as they do business. Yes.
So when, say, SMEs, they come to you and they are looking for credit, they don't have their record management right.
Yes.
Do you start by training them, or do you give them the money and then you now go to the training? How does this work?
No, when we onboard clients, we start by onboarding them, and then we start training them on how to do business. When we do that, we train them on record keeping. We train them on how to make profit from what they are doing. Yes, that is how we are able to work with them. And then after that, after taking them through, for example, I can give you a live case. In my organization, what we normally do in the first 4 months, or rather 8 weeks, we train these clients, ensuring them that they keep records, they are able to pay their loans, what we normally call loan orientation seminars. We take them through that. And after some times now, when we know that these clients can be able to do business with us, then we give them the first loan. We keep on graduating. We don't give them big loans, small loans. Sometimes we start with 20,000. We see how they are able to pay that. As they continue, they are building records. They pay the first loan, they repay, and then we give them the second loan, maybe 1.5% of the next loan, maybe 30,000 or 40,000, based on the business need. And then after that, they keep on graduating. Yes.
Most microfinance sectors, at least in the world, they offer higher interest rates than mainstream banks. Yes. Is this the case as well in Kenya? And how does this pan out for you in terms of attracting clientele?
Yes. One of the things I want to inform our viewers is that microfinance as a sector is a very high-cost business. Remember, we do not just, our clients come to us. They don't come to us, but we go to them. We go to their businesses. We have employed so many people so that they can go to door to each of the businesses. And therefore, in fact, our margin is usually very small. What we get from the client's loans, income or interest that we charge, and what we use to get that. We normally consider the first loan is just for break-even. We don't get anything from the first loan, but we start getting money from the subsequent loans. Yes.
And help me understand this scenario, because there are very many people in this category who are accessing the digital credit, or the mobile money loans. Is the sector not using technology to cut these costs? Because having to go to one person or one business at a time, as you said, is very costly.
Yes.
So what can the sector do to ensure that it uses the available technological solutions to reduce the costs? Yeah.
Thank you very much. Of course, as we continue, things are changing. The way we used to do business in the past is not the way we are doing it. The way we did microfinance in the 90s is not the same way. For example, in the 90s, we used to do a lot of groups. So, where you have groups, and you work with the group to be able to do what we call social collateral, and give them loans while they are in the group. But that is now waning out, because the digital thing has come, and you have to work with the digital. You have to work with the digital trade, because that is a trade that is there. And therefore, in every microfinance, either they have formed what we call a sector for digital and another one for a one-on-one touch with the clients, and that debates with the client. The microfinance and the way they want to move their strategy and all that. But the digital is the thing. If you not take that trade, then you'll not be able to make it. Yeah.
And as in your organization, have you included these technological solutions, and have you seen some benefits to it?
Yes, we have adopted that. We are in digital. You can apply a loan, from the point of actually in your house and anywhere, and get the loan immediately. This is something that is happening all over, and we have adopted that. Yes.
Microfinance institutions serve very diverse clientele.
Yes.
There are SMEs across different industries, and how is the product diversification for this sector so that you are meeting every client at their need?
Yeah, we have various products. Number one, remember we are working with very unstructured clients. So we work with the clients as per their need. For example, if we have the agricultural products, or rather their agricultural clients, we tailor their product according to the needs of the clients in that sector. So we have what we call the agri loans for agricultural clients. We have what we call the SME loans for those that are in the SME, either in the service industry or in the manufacturing industry, depending with what they are doing. So you have to manufacture the products in that manner, depending on the needs of the clients. So we have agriculture loans, we have SME loans, we have education loans that usually most of the times are second loans, because you cannot just have education. You have another SME loan or agriculture loan and an education loan to support education sector. We have maybe asset loans. Maybe a client need an asset either for their home use or either for the business use. So we have products for that line. And we also have other products for socio-oriented activities. For example, the green financing. So we also work on that, and we give products for that so that we can be sure that we are within the green financing activities.
Let's talk about the role of microfinance institutions in increasing savings in Kenya. We know that the savings culture in this country is very low, and there needs to be a lot of sensitization. Are microfinance institutions doing that in terms of sensitizing people on the importance of saving, the importance of, wise investments? Please share your thoughts on that.
Yes, in the microfinance sector, we have what we normally call the deposit-taking microfinance and non-deposit-taking microfinance. The deposit-taking microfinance, they accept deposits, so they accept savings from their clients. And that way, you are able to encourage your clients to save so that they can be able to get even loans at a better rate, because you have a security with you in the bank. But for the credit-only microfinance, we are not allowed to do that. We are not allowed to accept savings. So the only way you can do is to ask them to put savings in their commercial bank, in the commercial banks, and then we use that as collateral. And therefore, we are able to ask them to do savings in that category.
All right. But are there sensitization programs that you do, just generally, not necessarily looking at them bringing money to your organization or taking from your organizations, but general education programs for the general public?
Yes. In the training that I told you about, the orientation program, when you are onboarding clients, one of the training is on how to save, either through the banks, either through what we call the chama, the merry-go-round, for those who are working with the groups. So they have what we call the merry-go-round savings with them, and they put that money somewhere, either in an account or they save among themselves, so that it can be an extra income for them or an extra loan for them, and that makes them, keep them together because they have something they are doing within the group. So saving is something that is there. For example, for deposit-taking microfinance institution, they have very robust programs to drive what we call the savings and to attract deposits with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So let's look at the regulatory environment.
Yes.
How would you say the regulatory environment, policies and regulatory framework supports microfinance in Kenya?
Let me say there we have a gap, and this is something that we have been working on. There is a serious gap. For example, central bank regulates deposit-taking microfinance institutions. Then the non-deposit-taking microfinance, that is the credit-only microfinance, are not regulated by CBK. There has been what we call a Finance Act 2008 that has been pending. It has not been acted on. And we have been pushing to see to it that this is working. This is something that is pending, and we have not been properly regulated. I can say credit-only microfinance are not regulated for now, because there is an act that has not been rolled over. Yes.
And what is the risk of that unregulation?
The risk is many. There are many risks. As for example, if my institution want to borrow money from any either international organization or even local organization, one of the parameters they will look at is, are you regulated? And when they see that you are not regulated, you are not a deposit taking. If you are deposit taking microfinance, then you are in a good. You are in. They consider that as this is a good institution. But if you are credit only, even if you are doing a good business, then there will always a risk with them. They will look at it and see this is risky. This is a risky business, and therefore that is one of the challenge that we are having of not being regulated and regulated well. So we have been agitating that, and one of the things that AMFI is doing, the Association for Microfinance Institution, is to advocate for these players, working with the government, working with the CBK, working with the government agencies to see to it that the Microfinance Act that has not been operational is now working. And we have quite a number of forums that we have planned as AMFI to working with the government so that this can be actioned. And we hope the CS will help us to drive this sector. Yes.
Now, MFIs, they have quite some competition, especially in this market that we are in. The digital credit lenders are one of the biggest competitors for MFIs. What is the industry doing to catch up with these various new lenders, so to say, and also to prepare for the future?
Yeah, thank you. Now, the competitors are many, and don't forget the digital players are also microfinance.
Okay.
So they are also part of us. They are actually our partners. So the challenges they are facing are still the same challenges that we are facing.
Right.
Now, one of the competition that we have is commercial banks. Commercial banks have actually now come into our sector. Remember, in the beginning, I told you we work with the informal sector, and most of them are considered as unbankable. Now, most of the commercial banks have realized that they can also be share with us some of these clients. So that is a competition that we have to work with, and they have actually altered the way microfinance should work, because microfinance was working in a certain way, but because of the because of them coming into our sector, we are now trying to work differently. So commercial bank is a competitor. However, we are able to go around it in that sector, for that competition. We are able to go around because we are able to also assure our clients that we are still the best, because we do not accept what we normally call collaterals. Yeah, an asset, because we work with people who do not have assets. So how do we do it? We take chattel. Chattel is like your stock. Yeah, the hardware. So we look at the stock with in the hardware, and we evaluate, and we give loans based on that. That is a way of beating the commercial banks, because commercial banks cannot do that. The other thing is that we also take households as collateral. This is for not everyone. This is for clients that we know, we have a history with them, and they have been faithful with us, so we work with them in that manner, so that we can be able to beat the competition. The other thing is about the digital competition. Digital competition, we are in it also. To overcome that challenge, we have also involved ourselves in the digital platform. I don't think now there is any institution that can do without the digital platform. It is almost impossible, because right now, if you don't do that, then you'll be phased out without realizing that you have been phased out. So we have also come up with ways of doing the digital loans. So we are doing digital loans and all that to be able to work with them. And to beat that competition. Right, so definitely it has been a good thing. It is a positive thing. It's a positive thing. It has challenged us, and we are working with it. Yes. Right. The high interest rates that you charge, as you said, it's because of how intensive it is to run a microfinance. Yes. Does that discourage clientele from coming to you? And if so, is there any way that these interest rates can come lower? The discouragement of clients, they are not discouraged because in the first place, they cannot be given loans on the other side. The commercial banks cannot give them loans because of what, they are considered as unbankable. They are considered as high-risk clients. So, and because we are able to take them, that margin of interest is what now compensates with the risk that is there. Yes. So we cannot say that we don't have clients. We don't have, we cannot say that the risk, the margin, or rather the high cost of loans affects our clients as much, because they don't have also an alternative. And also it's not our liking to overcharge them. It is the way the business is structured. Yes. Right. Remember, we are talking about matters microfinance in Kenya, how the industry is performing, how to ensure sustainability in the industry. We shall be coming back to you with this conversation. You can interact with us on Twitter at KBC Channel 1, and at Betty Kiptum is my personal handle. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more on this conversation. Stay with us.
I never heard the music so sweet. I repeat.
Wagwan, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth reggae vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday. With me, DJ_Liza Diva.
DJ Cold that.
And me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa. Hadija ai, mani especially ukisonga.
coming back to the heart of worship.
I have someone, a young person, who is doing street worship. You've lived in Umeishi, Kenya.
Yeah, sana.
You hear Swahili, you hear Sheng.
Yote.
So you know Kayombo Tole.
Yeah, Kayombo Tole.
Wewe ni wa huku, wewe si Rwanda. Uliamka tu siku moja ukasema huyo mimi tauna gita yangu.
Kimaunenge nikaenda tu. So we get a lot of good reaction and they're like, you're doing so good, you bless me. Oh, I'm from Sijui, Nigeria, and I can see your videos, you're so good. Jesus paid it all. Oh, to him I owe.
Thank you very much for staying with Channel 1. You are watching BizCheck with me, Betty Kiptum, and Byron Abuli, who is on the sign language interpretation. In studio, we are having a conversation on microfinance industry in Kenya, how to ensure the industry is growing and how is it performing right now. And this conversation is with Laban Hihu. He is the CEO of Jitegemea Credit. Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. What are the future trends for microfinance institutions?
The future trends for microfinance, we will be able to see more of the digital. That is a trend that will continue growing more and more. So I can say we are just touching the digital way. Remember, there is the IE, that is the artificial intelligence.
AI, you mean?
The AI,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah, yeah.
The artificial intelligence that is coming. Most of the loans will be actually operated through the AI in one way or the other. And that is something that any institution would want to run with. And whatever system, even the system providers, that is the loan tracking system providers, need to think even as we going forward. The other thing is that we will still now continue thinking about what we call the socio-oriented or impact funding to our clients. That is a trend that is trending and around the globe. For example, the green financing. Right now, what we are doing, the kind of products that we have in green financing is still touching. We have not gone far. But this is something that needs to be done by any institution, much more and deeper than we are doing. So we need more deepening on that sector. Then the other thing is that you see even tighter policies, government policies. The government now will still come to us with tighter policies to ensure that the sector is run properly, so that we don't see a sector where every Tom and Dick can be able to play. I was reading somewhere about what happened in India, and everyone was on digital. And even now, even in Kenya, that is what is happening, that you have digital platform from all over the world. That is something that needs to be checked, and the government needs to check on that, because we will have capital flight, money flying all over, even outside the country, because there is no proper check on the digital management. So digital management will be more strictly managed by the government than it is right now. And we will see that coming in the future. So even as we get into the digital thing, we will be sure we are doing it and doing it right. Recently, there was what the government in 2022, what the government came up with, not 2021, on the digital service providers regulation. And that is still ongoing. Unfortunately, many applicants have not been given the license, and those that have been given the license have just a few of them. So the question is, you are competing with someone who is regulated and another one who is not regulated. The competition there is not there. So that there will be that now, digital coming in and regulated more and more. So we will also see a lot of advocacy, institution helping microfinance to, to add a voice to the issues that they are facing. These are some of the things that will come in the future. Yes.
When you talk about artificial intelligence, do you think that the industry is ready to take this up?
I believe even now there is a way. Yes. For example, when you make a loan application, you don't have any, some of these things, you don't have anyone intervening. There is no paper, paper intervention. You only do it through a USSD or an app, and then who actually checks whether you are qualified? Who does the appraisal?
It is a bot. So it's a bot, eh? It's an AI bot.
It's an AI build. So we have all that. For example, before then, in the 90s, before actually you get a loan, the process that used to go through was so high. You fill in, an application from the field. You are trained as a client. You get the training for 8 weeks, and then after the training for 8 weeks, that is actually, you now become a client who can qualify for a loan. You make a loan application. You fill in a form, and that form goes through the appraisal system, the officer, the supervisor, the manager, and the CEO, depending the amount and all that. And then the check is written, hard-written check is written, and then taken back to the client in the field, at the field. And then there is the receiving of that check by the client. And then after receiving that, the officials witness, the officials of the group witnesses that you have received the money, and then you start paying. When you are paying the loan, again, there is a record, a manual paper that you go where they fill in, so-and-so have paid 2,000, another one 3,000, another, like that. I'm giving an analysis of how it used to be done and how simplified it is right now. And then put all that money together and given it to one person. And then that one person take it to the bank and run back to the group and give a hard copy of a banking slip and attach it to the transaction record now, the list. And then the officer takes it to the office. And then that thing is taken now to the data entry office and then keyed in in the system. You can see that process.
That was pretty tedious.
But now, just with your phone, all you need to do is say hash a certain number, star a certain number and hash, and then you are given some instruction, and then money is actually approved along the way. So that is how digital has simplified our processes. And let me say, if this is played well, it can bring down the cost of finance. The only thing is that this sector have not been regulated properly. If regulated properly, it will bring a lot of sanity, and the cost of finance will also go down, because there is data that is normally new 20,000, but 50% of that I may not get it back. So I have to factor in that when in the cost. These are some of the factors that you have to consider when you are actually putting the cost of, or rather, attaching the cost of the loan that you are giving to the client. Yes.
That is a very important picture that you draw there, that this is how far we've come, and thank God for the digital revolution. Now, MFIs and ensuring financial inclusion, of course, you play a very key role in in serving a very underserved market, so to say. So what strategies are there to improve financial inclusion, especially in MFIs?
The strategies for financial inclusion, I think are many. We are able actually to, or again, still ride on the digital. That is a factor, because with digital, you are able to serve so many. Look at what has happened with the M-Pesa. How many people can be served using that? So that is something that any institution can be able to do that, can use to ride on. The other thing that we also do is now what we call geographical deepening.
Okay.
And how do we do that? We are doing that through branchless service. So you have a branch in Turkana, but you don't have anyone there, but you are calling it Turkana because you are serving clients of Turkana in a branchless manner. This way, you are able to reduce the operational costs so that you can also reduce the cost of the loan. So that is something else that we are doing. Digital, expanding our geographical outreach. And then the other thing that we are also doing is working with clients at, based on whatever products they have. I want to give you an example of an organization that I used to work with, an impact business, or rather business promotion organization that I used to work with. Now, we would target what we call apiculture, that is honey production in the hazard areas. And therefore, we would work with the community there. So you target a product, and then you organize clients there, and you start serving them in groups. Why? Because these are unreachable. These are people, any institution cannot go there. For example, let's say in some of the areas where, like Turkana, I don't know, yeah, in some areas, because we used to work there. We used to work in Marigat, the interior. And we would organize some of those groups together to do apiculture as a business. And with that, and one other element that we would put in that is the finance factor. We would bring in a financial service provider to give them money so that they can be able to buy honey equipment, they can be able to buy honey harvesting equipment and all that. They can be able to interlink them with the market, so that they can package the honey and all that and sell it in the market. This is something that is something that any microfinance can do. They have not done it yet, but it's something that can be done. Because there is a need there. There is a need of people who cannot be served by commercial banks and any other. But now, when you develop them and you help them to bring up their products and to grow up their products, then you are able to serve them. And the same thing that is happening even with the agriculture, where you bring together people together, certain producers of a certain product, for example, avocado, bring them together and then start serving them in that sector. The dairy sector, bring them together in a dairy sector, and then you are able to serve them. This is something that will open up the financial inclusion, and if done and done well, it's something that can be done. Yes. And
what such suggestions as you've put it, what is stopping the MFIs from actually taking that up?
Of course, it's a high expensive thing, because first, it may be considered as a social thing. So the first thing you do is it's going to cost you as an MFI before you start earning from it. But if done well, you put in some money, an investment, and then from there you start gaining from it as you continue.
Right.
I have seen that. I saw somewhere in Taita Taveta where we put together people to do apiculture like that, and we built for them honey processing center, and everyone will bring their honey from different areas. That honey is brought in there, and they start earning from it. And then you start now giving loans to these sprayers. You know, someone has brought in 20, 30 kilos, and therefore he had taken a loan to pay school fees, he had taken a loan to do something in their home areas, and then you can now deduct from there. This is something that is doable and something that can be done, but it will of course require some sacrifice in the beginning before you are able to get any income from it. Yes.
I think there is an opportunity for partnerships there, right?
Collaboration is actually another thing that can bring in. In fact, that's a thread that we forgot to say, collaboration of institutions. For example, in the coming future, you see organizations collaborating. For example, our banking sector player and a microfinance sector joining together to work together. Why? They will be able to take advantage of the synergy. You know, the microfinance finance is acting, or rather serving, the lower of the pyramid clients. The banking sector cannot. They do not have the understanding of this sector. Therefore, and we want to do it as a bank. So I want to collaborate with this one so that we can be able to take advantage of each other. And the microfinance will take advantage of the funds or the capital that you can give. This is a trend that will happen. No one will be able to do business alone. People will have to work together. And we have seen that. There are some institutions that have worked together like that, and they are working well. We have Kingdom Bank, which was also a microfinance institution, and they have joined with Cooperative Bank, and it's working. So any player in the industry would need to take advantage of each other and work together.
Right.
Yes.
Before we close the conversation, let's talk about matters responsible financing, responsible borrowing, especially from a borrower's perspective. There are so many people who are stuck in debt. They'll probably borrow here to pay here, borrow there to pay there. What do you think is something that can be done to alleviate this challenge?
I think one of the things as Amphi that we are doing is doing what we call trainings to our members. Well, I have two hats here. So because I'm a player in the microfinance sector, as the CEO of GTKM, I'm also a board member in Amphi. Therefore, I would say what we are doing in Amphi. We have programs that we are running, training our members on how to do responsible reading, and this is happening. So we look at the trend, what is happening there, and what can be done, and that is issue. Then we bring together our players. We have 72 members in the industry, 72 microfinance institutions on Fold, and they help, and we train them on how to do responsible credit or lending. The other thing that we do is that we have what we call we have come up with what we call the code of conduct in that sector. Remember, I told you this. Microfinance institutions are two. One is a deposit taking that is normally regulated by central bank, properly regulated, so they are within, they act and work as per the central bank regulation. But we have another one that is not regulated as at now, and we are working to be regulated because we want to be regulated. It's us actually saying regulators. That is the non-deposit taking microfinance or credit-only microfinance. Now, what Amphi is doing is to bring together or to come up with a code of conduct and good practice for the microfinance sector, that if you are a member, then you must adhere to 1, 2, 3. So that is what we are doing on responsible lending. The other thing is the CRB. The CRB that is helping us also to do that, because before you lend to someone, you have to check the credit rating, whether that person has other loans from other quarters and all that. Unfortunately, that is also something I may not talk about it, that need to be tightened. And microfinance were also removed from the CRB, so we are advocating actually to be returned, so that we can also be able to be checking, and especially those that are taking loans from all over, and you find them having problems. The other thing, lending, let me say digital, this is my opinion. Digital, as much as it's a good thing, need to be checked and checked well, because what is happening is that people are taking those loans everywhere. And especially the young people. You go to Tala, you take a loan, you go to a branch, you take a loan, you go to Hustlers Fund, you take a loan. You know, they are small loans. And in one way or another, that money is used for consumption. It is not used for development. It is not used for business. It is actually used for consumption. And that's the reason why you see most people are having what we call the mental health issues, because you have taken loans all over, and you reached a point where you cannot be able to pay. And therefore, you become stuck. So as a matter of responsible lending, we need central bank now to come in and help us, regulate that sector well. Otherwise, you will get a point where people are having a lot of debt and they cannot be able to pay. Yes.
And that is definitely not a good thing.
It's not a good thing for any sector. It's not at all. Yes.
Right. So as we come to a close of the conversation, what is the future looking like for MFIs?
I think we had said
not the trends. How is the future looking?
The future is bright. The future is bright. A lot of things are going to happen, even going forward. And this is a sector where it will be profitable. Okay. We have seen...
Is it currently profitable?
Yes, it's profitable. We have seen organizations, and especially offshore organizations, now wanting to come in. They cannot come here without knowing that it's a profitable sector. They are actually trading all over. Maybe institutions from Europe, they want to come to Kenya to do business in the microfinance sector, not even in the banking, in the microfinance sector. Why? Because there is a lot of opportunities that have not been exploited. If properly exploited, then we can be able to, there is money. So the future is bright. We will see a lot of capital coming in, and that is actually also happening. People investing, foreign capital coming in, a lot of institutions coming in to invest in the microfinance sector, as it is happening right now. And that will only happen if central bank and the government regulates us. For example, my institution, if I am regulated, I can tell you the people who will be interested with it are so many out there. So we only require regulation, and that regulation will help us to attract foreign investors to come in.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I think that's a great way to end the conversation. Asante sana for speaking with us.
Thank you very much.
I have been speaking with Laban Hihu. He is the CEO of Jitegemea Credit, and we have talked about matters microfinance in Kenya. He says that regulation is a very important point that needs to be considered to ensure that the sector is attracting investment, especially from the foreign markets. This is BizCheck. When we come back, we will get into a conversation on matters the construction industry and how to ensure sustainability there. Do stay with Channel 1. Be back in a few.
Unajua, token mita yako inahitaji system update. Ni rahisi na ni free. Ukipata ujumbe kutoka Kenya Power, yani SMS, weka kodi ya kwanza kureset, alafu weke kodi ya pili kuupdate. Update token mita yako. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
Blended families are becoming increasingly common in Kenya.
These families or members of these families are the ones that put attitudes in our minds. Because we already start with stepmother.
And it is from the experience and the challenges of the step family life when I realized that it is actually different that motivated me to start the blended family network.
Tena challenge inakuwa kubwa sana kama spouse si supportive. Na ndio spouse akuwe supportive, spouse anakuwa katikati. Alali huku sana na pande hii sana.
How do you even know that you are becoming a stepchild? In African homes, you just wake up one day and you're told, wacha kuita huyo auntie. Sasa ni mom.
That is the truth, yeah.
Sasa anza kuita uncle.
Huyo ni baba sasa, na huyo ni mama, true.
Nobody prepares you for the step family living.
Join me on a journey as we unlock the secrets of a healthier and vibrant you. We'll also share real-life stories of courage and resilience. Plus, we provide practical health tips for living a healthy lifestyle, no matter what challenges you may face.
Kinyanjui, what are you doing?
What does it look like I am doing? Atito, I have never been this patient. This is what is called business.
Those are expensive gadgets that can pay for your underwears for the next 20 years.
Sick. Talk of selfish. I thought mothers were supposed to be taking care of their children and kids.
Until when they get old, then you become the mom.
But I am not old enough. I don't want to be a mom. How can I be a mommy to my mommy and a mommy to my brother?
Mr. Tisha, did we offend you?
Why would you think that? This is not the time for stories, Kinandri.
This is so boring.
Common law.
I was thinking to go for an all-white gender reveal party.
Oh, well, Pitya can help you with that.
Hell no.
Have you been invited to the traditional wedding?
She can go and marry the Prince of Dubai and I still won't care.
I'm not moving back in with you.
Do you think I'd let you leave me for that mysterious man that keeps calling you?
Baba Felix!
I know my wife. You have to talk to Kristen. She's not thinking straight right now. And I can't afford to lose her.
Jack, you think this is a house that you can just walk in as you please?
Hata huko wenyewe, sawa?
Thank you for watching KBC Channel 1. This is the second hour thereabout of BizCheck, and you're with me, Betty Kiptum, and Byron Abuli. I see Lensa Odingo there. She is the sign language interpreter. Now, we want to talk about matters sustainable construction, and in studio with me is Santosh Panda, who is the project and technical manager at Safal Building System. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. The construction industry contributes about 36% of energy usage and 40% of CO2 emissions worldwide. And of course, sustainable solutions are the answer, so to say, in bringing down these numbers. So just tell us your thoughts on that.
Yes. When we talk about sustainable, if we go to the dictionary, it says saving the environment. How we will impact the environment, how we can save the environment. Those are the things we get from dictionary. So when we talk about sustainable construction, we want to say how we save environment impacts by the construction. As you initially mentioned that we are the largest impactor to the environment, like 36% carbon emission, 40% wastage and other things. So, so to say that now we have to be very careful how we are impacting the environment, how much less we can impact the environment. So, as every industry says, we cannot get a better result doing the same thing. So we have to change our way of thinking about the construction industry and the way we do the construction. That is the only way we can save our environment, or we can save our environment for the future, for the future generations.
Right. So now for the industry currently, the solutions that are available, of course, when you talk about sustainability, you're not only talking about the structure, the construction. It includes even after construction, how does this building work? So take us through that process in ensuring that you have sustainable construction at the point of construction and beyond.
Yeah, if we talk about sustainable construction, it doesn't start with it starts with the construction, but it covers the whole life cycle of the building. Like when we are doing a construction, you are doing something. And when you are using the building, you are also impacting the environment. Like, okay, you have seen all this light. If you put all this light, it will have some impact. You are consuming energy. So during the construction, we are consuming energy. Again, you are consuming energy with your air conditioner, your lights, you are running air vents, everything. And so when we are doing the construction planning or planning for the building, we need to understand what type of material we should use, what type of building we will give to the environment or the society so that it will reduce the operational costs. Like nowadays you are always seeing in the channels or in the media that we need a green building. What do you need? Why people are talking about green building? No, it is not green.
Yeah.
Green means we are giving less impact to the environment. Like we are using less, we are doing daylight inside the building so that we are using less energy, less electricity. We are not, our building is well ventilated, so we are not putting artificial ventilation system which will consume your energy. Even the building materials itself. The building material itself is having a issue. If you select the proper building material, then only you will able to deliver a proper building which can be easily operated with low energy or with low maintenance.
Right. Let me just pause you there for a little bit. I'm informed that the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Mining and Blue Economy, Salim Vuria, is speaking. Let's just listen into that.
Currently done 24 counties, and in the next 4 months or so, we'll have covered all the required 47 counties for ground truthing for key minerals. Secondly, we committed to reform the area of value addition and mineral processing. So far, we have mapped up the country. We have looked at the western region of our country, and we have already initiated a process of value addition for gold. Last month, we took the investor in Ikolomani for gold processing, where 5.8 billion will be invested in Kakamega. Already we have also concluded FLOSPA in Elgeyo Marakwet. We have equally introduced the investor in Elgeyo Marakwet, and they are going to put up a 4.8 billion investment to revive FLOSPA mining and processing in that area. In the next 1.5 weeks, we'll be going to Kakamega. We already have an investor who is going to do granite processing in Kakamega to basically bring forward all the issues to do with tiles. Tiles should not be imported because we have potential to do it here in the country. This month, towards the end of this month, we will be also taking an investor to Taita Taveta, who has committed to put 11 billion investment in iron ore value addition and processing. We have also mapped Kitui. We have requested the leadership there to provide land so that we can do an expression of interest for investor in copper value addition and processing. We have equally written to Kisii leadership so that we can get an area where we can put up investment in soapstone processing, and that process is going on. So I want to say that we are on schedule to ensure that we move away from just mining, but also create value addition and manufacturing, which will be very critical in providing jobs for the young people. We also promised that we are going to reform testing and sampling, and currently we have already grounded 9 lab services in form of containers and equipment in different regions so that testing of minerals can be done on the ground, as part of what we want to do to create an ease of doing business. So away from the issues that we are discussing today, I want to assure Kenyans that the State Department of Mining, and mining in particular, is in good progress in terms of the reforms. And because part of the reforms have already been experienced by our team, the Chambers was here also to give us feedback on their experiences. And one of the things they have raised with us is the mineral movement permit, which we introduced basically to track where the minerals are coming from, to enable us calculate the royalties to counties and also national government. However, because of the challenges that they have experienced, I have directed that the movement permit is approved by the regional mining officer in the field, not necessarily having any intervention from Nairobi. So that is an issue that from today, the RMOs are directed to ensure this on the ground. There's also a matter on strategic minerals. Strategic minerals are minerals of high value, minerals that we feel should be categorized so that they can be valuable for the improvement of our economy. They have raised an issue about having a transition because we don't give licenses for strategic minerals. So they have requested that we review that, which we have agreed. We will review, we'll see the transition so that those who have and other minerals can be able to dispose before now the strict application of the cabinet decision. So we will be able to come back to them so that we tell them the transition period, but we have generally agreed that we need to support them to move their products to the market, and then we can now go back to make sure that we apply it 100%. They have raised an issue about the speed of licensing, because the speed of licensing is determined by the law, and as a ministry we have committed to make sure that we follow the law. We will not skip any procedure, However, we will strengthen the capacity of the Mineral Rights Board. First of all, the Mineral Rights Board will sit 3 times a month. We will also...
This is Salim Mvurya. He is the CS in charge of mining and blue economy as well as maritime affairs, and he has been talking about the status of the mining sector. He has mentioned the issue of the slow issuance of licenses and permits for prospecting, mining and dealerships. He says that artisanal mining policy will be in place in the next 6 months, as well as a number of issues that he's taking up, including ensuring that tile production is done locally as opposed to importation of tiles. Now, we want to take you to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, where celebrations for the African Anti-Corruption Day 2024 are ongoing, and the Chief Executive, Twalib Mbarak, is speaking there.
It's up to you to judge whether you become a whistleblower or not. You can't take that approach, and the other places that you are immersed in fear. And in Kenya and generally Africa and other developing countries, that is where we are. So you see a problem when it has manifested it openly that people have stolen money. And you hear there are these billions that were stolen at NHIF. There was this amount of money that was stolen at this place. There was some fertilizer given from Russia, it has disappeared in the sea. Now you start wondering, how can fish finish all fertilizer from a ship and they cannot even come out? But you're told this ship did not arrive, did not anchor in Mombasa. But there must be somebody who saw something, an indicator, that something is not right. So the issue of fear of being known and repercussion, then there is the intention of reporting. In our society, and that is why I heard the UNODC representative and the lady here talking about mechanisms. We need to domesticate mechanism of whistleblowing. There are parts of Kenya, a whistleblower will not fear of being identified. He will fear of being bewitched because he has reported. How do you take care of that in the policy? These are people who fear to report because they believe in witchcraft. And you know, you may despise witchcraft, but in sociology, witchcraft and religion is considered as primitive science. It's up to you where you belong. So somebody may fear the environment. A whistleblower in Northeastern will not be equal to a whistleblower in Nairobi. So the African environment, and today we are marking the African Union Anti-Corruption Day. It's up to us now to take the good formats that we get from our European or the developed world and domesticate this whistleblowing mechanism so that they can become effective. The lady from the AG has talked about the whistleblower protection bill. Please, let's get hold of it. Let's critique, positive criticism, and let us give a feedback. Civil societies. Most of us in government, we look at civil society as just troublesome organization. No, let us bring them closer to us. Let us partner with them. Sometimes they don't understand how the government operates. You know that you are also disadvantaged if you have not worked in government. I'm from the military background, and when I meet my former colleagues in the military, I tell them there are very good things in the military, but also it is very good to interact with the civilian. When you blend the two, it's like a crossbreed. You get the best. Because if you're too much on the civilian side, there's a problem. Even if you're too much in the military side, there's a problem. You're from the military, and you come here as a CEO straight. You will even tell the staff, in the morning I want to inspect your shoes, whether they are clean. And the civilian will look at you as a madman. So you need to balance between the two. You need to balance about whistleblowing and negative activism. We have quite a number of people, and this is an experience in EACC. People are reporting an incident not because they want you to investigate, it's because they want to fix somebody. Quite common when there's an appointment of a CEO in that company. People take ethnic lines. People say, now let us use ESCC as a springboard to finish this person. So even the recipient of a whistleblower report, you must be very careful how you are handling it, because sometimes it is blended with vendetta and personal interest. A person tells you this man is doing this and that and that. He wants you to log on that particular person so that that person is suspended from work because they are focusing on so and so to take over that position. So there are a lot of tricks and wisdom when you are handling the issue of whistleblower in an African environment. We are talking of rewards. One of the speakers talked about rewards, and I want to give you the advantages of rewards and disadvantages. Rewards can
That is the EACC CEO Twalib Mbarak there speaking on the African Union Anti-Corruption Day 2024 celebrations, and the focus is on whistleblowers. Of course, he's saying that whistleblowers need to be protected, but at the same time, the people who are handling whistleblower information, especially from authorities and institutions such as the EACC, have to be careful to ensure that it is not used as witch hunt by some people. Of course, our own Timothy Kipnusu is on the ground there. He shall be filing a detailed report from that particular event later in our subsequent bulletins. In studio, we want to continue with our conversation on the construction industry and its sustainability. And with me is Santosh Panda, who is the project and technical manager at Safal Building System. Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. So you had Salim Vuria speaking there, and he talked about, tiles being locally sourced. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Actually, if you see the Kenyan construction market, maybe around 50 to 60% is import. Now he talked about manufacturing tile locally. Even he is talking about steel, production of steel, conversion of iron ore to steel, which is actually a good news for the construction market, because steel is one of the major products which can bring the construction to a sustainable stage. Because steel is a product which is, you can say, 99% recyclable. That means you are not wasting anything. Okay. You build a steel now, maybe after 10 years you recycle it and again make the steel new. So you are not wasting anything. So when we are talking about manufacturing steel locally in Kenya, it will definitely boost the construction sector here. And I also heard the CEO EACC saying that, okay, people are using this ethical discussion to take advantage of it. So that is one of the barriers in moving to a sustainable construction. When people talk about, okay, think of a change, somebody will try to bring you down. Oh, no, we don't want to do the change. So he will frame you in the way that, okay, you are doing something wrong. Don't go for the change.
Okay.
So to go for a sustainable construction, people should, change should not be a barrier. In construction market, people try to create barriers for change.
Okay.
That is one of the things why Kenyan construction market is not moving towards innovation. In Kenyan market, if you go to a mature market like Australia or US, you find they are building more buildings in a sustainable way, like using steel. Here, if you will come back to Kenya, you will see maybe the steel uses in the building is very less. And you are mostly relying on concrete. If you rely on concrete, you are using cement. And cement is one of the products which generates much more emissions to the environment than any other product. So now, in the earlier discussion, I was discussing that we have to think of innovative materials. So that is the way we can when we select the material, if we select it right, then we will move ahead and make a building sustainable.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about the innovative material in that point of construction, what informs the choices that developers make?
Okay, if you are talking about choices, to make a choice, you need the information first. Mm-hmm. Like if you are not aware about a product, you cannot think of that. Like when I am not informed about that KBC is here, I will never think of coming to KBC. So at this point, information is power, but rather than information, misinformation is more powerful at this point. People are due to lack of knowledge or lack of awareness, people look into a situation and interpret on its own. Like I will give you an example. When you talk about a steel building, if you are not much aware about the uses, you are not much aware about the benefits, you will think, oh, steel, no. I will not live inside a steel building, so I don't want my house to be built in steel. But if you will go into details, if you are informed, a steel building can give you much better benefits. Like you can have a steel building looking similar to your concrete building. You can do different type of interiors and make it looking similar to your existing building. But still you are doing at a higher speed. Like your conventional building, if you can do it 2 months time, 3 months time, with a steel you can maybe build it a month's time. So you are saving time. If you are staying somewhere in a rented house, you are saving that rent. Even if with a steel building with different properties of steel and combination of steel and concrete, you will have a building where you can have better green products. So those are the benefits people should understand first before taking a decision. And information is power. Like these broadcasting agencies and other things, they should mostly focus on providing information.
Right, that is what we're here to do. Let's talk about now the options that are available. Of course, there are people who do construction for commercial purposes. Those are large scale. And then there's someone who just wants to construct their house for their family. So what's sustainable clientele?
See, when construction or heavy construction or industrial construction, people always have a fleet of engineers, architects, and all these professionals are involved. But when we come to a residential individual, let's say you or me, if I want to build my own house, I may not afford a architect, I may not afford a structural engineer. I just take the support of them to get the basic detail to get approvals, but I may not engage them for a full period to get the details or get their technical help. In that case, the manufacturers should come up with innovative idea to circulate the information. Like let's say if we are talking about Mabati rolling mill, there are or any other roof manufacturer, like they should advertise the benefits of the product in the common media platforms. So people should understand what is the benefit they will get out of it. What are the options available? If I go to Google it, then I can have 10 options. But if I try to understand the products, everybody has its own benefit. Then I can take an informed decision what I have to do. So if I don't know the basics of the products, then I will not Google it. Google is the best guru at this point, but I will not Google it if I don't know the basics. Like if somebody will say you want to buy a tie, he knows it is a tie, so he will Google it where I can get it. But If you don't know if you want to go to buy a specific type of pen, you may not be knowing the details what to sort for. So you will not get the information.
So a lot of sensitization
Yes.
needs to be done.
That is the most important thing, that information has to go to the root level.
Right. And right now, a lot of the government is focusing on affordable houses. The private sector is also involved in this venture. What is being done, or is there anything that is being done really to ensure that the buildings are sustainable and not using, environmentally heavy, the ones which have environmentally heavy impact?
Okay. See, most of this mass housing, low-cost housing, affordable housing, whatever term they make it, most of them are done in public-private partnership modes. And the basic consideration in them is the upfront cost. They don't talk about life cycle cost. People always talk, okay, how much it will cost now? So now the agencies who are involved, like ANCA and other construction agencies, they should talk about life cycle cost of the buildings, so that when we design a building for a 10 years, 15 years, 20 years tenure, we should calculate the total cost of ownership for that 20 years, not the cost of construction at this point. I normally give this example to people when I talk about sustainable construction. Everybody knows Eiffel Tower. It is a 135-year-old building. That time the technology was not so advanced, so the structure was built and they painted it. And within this 135 years, this building, this structure is painted 19 times. And every time they are consuming around $4 million for that painting. If the same structure has been done with a galvanized steel or coated steel, it should have done, the maintenance should have been done for 4 or 5 times. So you can imagine what is the cost we did for maintenance of the structure. It is almost the same as the main structure itself, the construction of the structure.
Right.
So we have to understand the life cycle cost, and those things as an individual, nobody goes into that direction. So the agencies like NCA or Architectural Association of Kenya, IQSK, all these people should come up with that idea, that life cycle cost of the building. So from the day one, you know, okay, this is my cost.
Right. Thank you. Let me just stop you there. I would like to take the viewer to the NCIC offices, where Dadaab Member of Parliament Farah Maalim is set to appear. Abdulaziz Hashim is following up on this story. Of course, Maalim is set to appear at NCIC due to his utterances, and we want to join our reporter Abdulaziz Hashim, who is on the ground. Do tell the latest, Hashim.
Well, Kiptum, it is exactly 27 minutes past 11. You do remember that the National Cohesion and Integration Commission yesterday issued summons against the Dadaab Member of Parliament, that is Farah Maalim. Right now, we are waiting to see if the Wiper legislator will come here. You do know that the repercussions follows, or sanctions rather, follows his remarks that he made in his local dialect. Now, pursuant to certain acts that is provided within the NCIC Act and the Constitution as well, the Commission, led by Reverend Samuel Kobia, have summoned Farah Maalim, who is expected to come at this commission at any time. The investigative unit are already prepared for him. You do know that the procedure, once he comes, he will have to be asked a series of questions to ascertain why, or why did he even say those remarks. Now, you do remember that while issuing that particular summon, NCIC followed sections of 27 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act of Section 12 of 2008, where the Commission can investigate anybody who is perceived to have incited feelings or contempt, hatred, hostility, violence, or even discrimination. Now, if in the eventuality the Member of Parliament does not appear before the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, the NCIC Act has also provided for that, where the Commission will set the date, time, and the venue for the person to appear. If he fails to appear under Section 63C, read with Section 63E of the NCIC Acts, give NCIC powers to, of course, coordinate with the Interior Ministry, given that it is a department within the Interior Ministry, to apprehend the legislator if he fails to appear. Now, you do know that the sentiments of the Wiper Party, the Wiper Member of Parliament, has, of course, elicited mixed reactions. Even yesterday, the National Executive Council, led by none other than the Wiper Party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, they were able to remove the Member of Parliament from NEC as well as other high-ranking organs within the party following his remarks. Further, the party had resolved in a statement that was read by none other than the Secretary General of the Wiper Party, that is Shakila Abdallah, the senator. She clearly stated that he has also been removed from various committees. He should be de-whipped from various committees and the Speaker's panel. But we're still keeping an eye here. We're waiting to see if the Member of Parliament will appear. The Commission is also expected to talk to an elder from Nakuru County known as Merimet. He uttered words in an unspecified area. We will get to talk to the Commission to tell us where he said those remarks and what actually, why they're summoning the elder to come and appear before them. But as of now, the Member of Parliament for Dadaab has not arrived. We are waiting for him to arrive so that we can see from there on what the investigation will be like. You do also remember the Member of Parliament, in appearing in a local station here in the country, clearly stated that he did not say those words, that his video was adulterated or altered with by some unscrupulous people. If that is the case, he's supposed to bring even that evidence to the Commission to show that he did not say those words and those videos were altered with. But for now, I need to hand you over back to Kiptum. As and when we get more developments, we will inform you.
Thank you very much, Abdiaziz Hashim. There, I had said Abdulaziz. Abdulaziz is our reporter from Mombasa. He is Abdiaziz Hashim, bringing us a report from NCIC, where the Dadaab Member of Parliament, Farah Maalim, is set to appear, and he shall be telling us if he does and what goes on there at the NCIC. We come back to studio now and continue with our conversation on matters sustainable construction with Santosh Panda, who is the project and technical manager at Safal Building System. Thank you very much for staying with us, Santosh.
Thank you.
Right, when we were, before we joined Hashim there for that report, you were talking about why plans need to look at the life cycle of a building and not just, the construction cost and then we are done and yay, here we go. So even construction, from an individual perspective, from a developer perspective, commercially, this is a very important pointer, right?
Yes, this is a very important point because whenever we make a building or a structure, it is not for now. It may be for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 100 years. So if we didn't calculate that and you buy a substandard product and go on maintaining it, or you buy a standard product and live peacefully. That is the only theory you can correlate. That people say buy a substandard product and cry every day, or buy a good product and live in peace. So if you calculate those life cycle costs and invest in the current stage, then maybe we will live peacefully for a longer time. Like I said, instead of maintaining the structure for 19 times, if you want to maintain it for 4 times, 5 times, then either they will gain by keeping it open, because during maintenance they have to close this for view, so they are losing the charges for the tickets. They are spending $4 million, which is a huge money. $4 million is a huge money. And you are risking life of people because it is a big structure doing there. And even you are exposing the environment. Like in every painting, they are using 60 tons of paint. Imagine if you are doing 60 tons of paint, how much chemical you are emitting to the environment. So you have to be very choosy about the material you should use during the construction itself, so that it will give a better life and reduce maintenance.
You talked about innovation and coming up with these solutions. When you watch a lot of these real estate construction shows, it almost looks like the African market is way far behind in terms of those innovative solutions. What are we doing as the Kenyan market, the African market, to come up with solutions that work for this market? And also comment on the price point there.
See, when we talk about innovations, it is a blend of the local available material and the technology. It is not always an imported one. If it is an imported one, it will always be not cost effective, it will be expensive. Because you have to pay every sort of charges starting from transport to taxes. So during innovation, you need to think of how we can have a product which has a local component, but it should be passed through the innovation to have a better results. When we talk about building solutions, the building solution must be having a component or a raw material which should be used from the local available materials. That's why I just mentioned that CS has said, okay, we are starting to manufacture steel locally. Till now we are importing it. So once we start manufacturing our own steel, the cost of basic raw material will go down. Then that product, if we use it in an innovative way, it will be cost effective than the current uses. The other way around, yes, local products, you say it is cheap. Let's say in Kenya you have a lot of forests, so I will say, okay, let's use timber. But by cutting trees, you are doing deforestation. Again, after some time, you will say, oh, we don't have forest, let's plant trees. Again, adding a cost. And what is the life of a wood? And you are not very sure, if you go to the market and buy a wood, you are not very sure, is this wood the right one I am using? Because it is not a controlled market. If you are using a standard product like steel, at least it is governed by some standards, like cave standards if they are, or people use Euro standards. So it is governed by a standard. So everybody using the same standards to follow, and you are assured that if I am getting these things, it is up to that standard. Even you talk about UN is saying, the SDG goals are saying, oh, hold on, now we have cut all the tree we have to be. Now we have to stop cutting trees. So now if you use, in Kenya, I have seen many buildings who has roofs with wood. Now if you have to replace it with steel, or at least for the new buildings, if you will do it with steel, at least we will save the trees. So the steel is a very important product in construction market. It is not a new product, but use of innovative use of steel, that is important, because steel, like every construction product, steel also has its merits and demerits. Like if you will not take care of the steel properly, it will not take care of you. Like if you will leave it as it is, with a due course of time, it will rust and collapse. So the next innovation came to steel, that okay, protect the steel with different type of coating. Initially we started with paints, then now people started with zinc coating, then different coatings like alu zinc, and all these improvements which started yearly mid of 90s, and so now it has picked Kenya market also. It is not a very new product to Kenya market, but yes, it is not popularized. That is the most challenging thing. It is not popularized. People don't think steel as a product to be used in a residential or commercial setup. That mindset has to be changed. That resistance to change has to be removed.
The resistance to change.
Resistance to change has to be removed. That is more important.
And go ahead.
So when we are talking about resistance to change, people resist the change because they are not aware of the benefit. So then it comes to awareness. So awareness and resistance to change, that has to be created.
And of course, every manufacturer, everyone who is providing solutions in this market is competing for the market.
Yes.
Right? So even as you do your awareness from the steel side, others are doing it from the timber side. There are also those who are doing it from the cement side of things. And how do we ensure that at the end of the day, every mind is geared towards sustainability as opposed to, I want to make money here, I want to make money here? I mean, how can we get to the goal?
Okay. See, whichever construction material you told, like cement, steel, and wood, none of them can be out from the whole structure. If you have to do a building, you have to do the foundation. You have to use the cement. You cannot avoid that. So you have to create a balance between the items. Like the way we always say that, okay, if you are using a concrete, so let's have an innovative way of using the concrete, not the traditional way of doing the concreting, or a traditional way of cement. Like now the cement companies have also come up with green concept of cement, which radiates less emissions to the environment. So creating a balance is important. It is not that we can avoid any item. We cannot avoid steel, we cannot avoid cement, we cannot even avoid wood. You also have to have a portion of wood in. If you have to have the doors, nobody will like the steel doors. You will have a wooden door. Or if not direct wood, it may be converted into plywood or all sort of things, but it has to be. So, but the balancing has to be there. Like we are saying, okay, if I use more steel, what is my benefit? What is use more concrete, what is my benefit? As a user, not as a manufacturer, as a user, we should understand what is the optimal combination of all these items, so that my cost is maintained or I get an optimal cost, and the impact on the environment is less. That has to be always worked out while selecting the material and the building.
When you're excuse me, when you're choosing materials, especially when you're using renewable materials for construction, does it eventually bring the cost down?
If you talk about life cycle cost, yes, but the upfront cost will go up, definitely. Like there is a survey by University of Minho in Portugal. If you try to build a building with a sustainable way, with a balanced mix of cement, steel, wood, and all other available material, the upfront cost will go up by 5 to 6%. So there is a cost hike. As if you talk about, okay, what is the cost of building this house? It will go up. But they also calculated this in a life cycle basis. So end of life, when you have a, let's compare, let's give a hypothetical example, you have 50% of steel and 50% of concrete in a building. So end of life, you are recycling 50% of this building material, because when you demolish a building of concrete, it is a scrap. When you are demolishing a building with steel, at least the steel part you will sell it at least 50%, 60% of the value as a scrap. So end of life, you are also gaining something from that. So if it is a balanced way of engaging those two materials, cement and steel, in a building, so end of life, you will gaining something as a scrap. And if you are making a full concrete building, end of life, it is another headache to dispose those scraps. So if you talk about life cycle cost, you are saving with a sustainable way by properly utilizing steel and combination of steel and concrete. But upfront cost, it will go up.
Mm-hmm. So for a market like Kenya, you understand where most people are, and it would probably make sense not to go that direction, you know, because you're looking at the immediate construction cost as opposed to the life cycle cost. So how can we bring the cost to a position where it can compete with the available resources that are maybe not sustainable?
Yes, that is the best. I think that is one of the burning questions at this point, that how we are managing the cost of construction with sustainable material and with other materials. We talk about, when we talk about business, we talk about ROI, return of investment. If I think I have given this example to you before, that you want to build a house in traditional way, it may take you 3 to 6 months time. You are staying in rent somewhere. Now you want to build this house in a sustainable material, like the innovative way of doing prefabricated structure and pre-built structures, all these things. You may build that house within 2 months time, so you save a 4 months rent. So maybe that is one of the savings you are looking at. Maybe you are not calculating that, but practically speaking, you are saving something. So now in Kenya, I think it is gaining popularity. It is not that Kenyan market is not gaining popularity for the steel building. Even in residential sectors, people are moving towards that. It is a good sign that people are accepting these buildings as their living space. Okay, acceptability level is very low. Maybe I will say around 15 to 20% at this point. As manufacturers, we are trying to create awareness of the benefits and the cost-benefit analysis, so that people will able to take a decision, like the way we discussed, that awareness and the resistance.
Right.
But still that resistance is there in the market. People are not so keen to move towards this, unless, and the 15-20% what I am talking about, those people are mostly staying outside and seeing outside environment, then coming back, okay, if we can do it in Australia, we can do it in US, you can do it UK, then why not Kenya?
Right. Allow me to stop you there for just a little bit. You'll continue that point in a minute. We want to get back to the African Union Anti-Corruption Day there. The chair of EACC, Bishop David Oginde, is speaking. Let's listen into that.
With that which we are given, and instead we go and steal that which we have been given to take care of. What would you do with a watchman who becomes a thief in your compound? Would you say until all the legal processes are exhausted? You have been told the chicken that got lost, but actually you gave us that example. Your neighbor tells you the chicken that got lost was actually stolen by your watchman. And you say, where is the evidence? The following day he calls you. There's a time when we were constructing our house several years back. And our neighbor came and told us, your contractor is stealing your cement. Because I would come and he says, this miti meisha. So I thought, wow, that is very fast. We just brought 10 bags the other day. I measure. So we bring another set of bags. until our neighbor who says, please check, these people are stealing your cement. I didn't wait to exhaust all legal processes. I removed that contractor immediately. But in this country, we say so-and-so is corrupt. So-and-so is stealing. We even have what the whistleblowers have brought to us. And you take them to court, and they say until all the legal processes have been exhausted. 20 years down the road, this person is still serving. Governors serve for 10 years and finish their term. While at the beginning, there were corruption cases brought against them because they have not exhausted the whole process. We are not going to fight this thing if we are not serious about it. Our young people have got tired, and it should not be. When your children revolt against you, you know something is wrong. Whether they are right or wrong, it is a time to reflect, to go back and consider, where did we go wrong? And one of the things they have been raising, by the way, these days, anytime the word corruption is mentioned, I feel like it's an arrow to my heart because I'm in the corruption industry. And I'm the head and the chair of the group that is supposed to deal with corruption. So every time it is mentioned, I feel, oh my God. So it has been a very torturous 3-4 weeks for me as a human being in this country. And yet I know I cannot do anything unless fellow Kenyans, we work together and we ensure that this thing is dealt with. So, as we sit here today, we appreciate the voices of concern that are being raised. But those voices of concern will not make any difference if we as a people do not make personal decisions.
The EACC Chair Bishop David Oginde, they are making his remarks at the African Union Anti-Corruption Day celebrations, and of course bringing up very important pointers in considering what is going on in the country right now. A point of concern by Kenyans has been the rampant corruption, and he says that it is sad that people are implicated in corruption cases but still continue to serve even beyond that time. Well, we shall be bringing you the details of what comes out of that meeting in our subsequent bulletins. In studio, we'd like to close the conversation here with Santosh Panda, who is the project and technical manager, Safal Building System. We've been talking about matters sustainable construction. We are out of time. I will give you 1 minute to give us your closing remarks, kindly.
We need to create a balance between sustainability and affordability. Like it is a very thin line. You can always say affordability is the upfront cost, but the sustainability is the long-term one. So are you thinking for today or you are thinking for your children? That you have to decide. The second thing I will say, we need to open our minds and remove the resistance to change. It is rightly said by somebody that we cannot build tomorrow with today's systems. We have to think of changes, new ideas, new technology, new materials, new methods or procedures. So you have to be open. We cannot resist the change and try to think that, okay, we can go ahead.
Right, thank you very much. We have to close it there. That is the conversation on construction sustainability and ensuring that we are using materials that are not going to have a negative impact on the environment. That is BizCheck. My name is Betty Kiptum, and from all that made this broadcast possible, we wish you a good afternoon. Tamrini and Kurunzi Mashinani are coming up with Kasichana Masha. Do stay tuned to Channel 1.
Tenugui hand towels have long been a feature of daily life in Japan. Made from thin cotton, they come in a standard size of 35 by 90 centimeters. This versatile towel first became popular about 400 years ago. At first, it was simply for wiping away perspiration or protecting the face or hair from dust. But even today, people are still finding new uses for tenugui. They're a great way to wrap box lunches and drink bottles, and even things like tissue boxes. A simple, everyday item that reflects so much of Japanese culture. Modern designers are finding that tenugui are a great medium to express their creativity. Simple to frame, they add a decorative touch to any interior. Some tenugui are really small works of art. The beautiful gradations on this design are achieved using a traditional technique called chusen dyeing. This store has a history going back 150 years. This is Kobayashi Takuya. He continues the tradition of chusen dyed tenugui. Each piece is crafted individually using quality cotton chosen to feel good on the skin. First, a stencil is placed over the cotton material. The artisan then spreads glue through the stencil. The dye only colours the unglued parts, revealing the pattern from the stencil. Since they are made by hand, each tenugui is slightly different in colour. Everyone's tenugui will be unique. For more complex designs, the artisan creates walls of glue to prevent the different colours spreading and mixing as they are applied. The real skill lies in creating gradation effects. To do this, the cloth isn't soaked in glue, and two colours are applied simultaneously. Kakigori is a kind of shaved ice popular in summer. Delicate gradations of colour suggest a summery feeling. These lovely tenugui designs are now finding other applications. People currently want face masks that are fashionable and comfortable to wear, and tenugui material is perfect. At present, people are wearing masks for long periods each day. I think our tenugui masks are catching on because of their bright, cheerful patterns. Kobayashi hearing that schools were short of face masks, decided to give Tenegui masks to his local primary school. It's much softer than regular masks. It feels great. Mine's a chameleon. Cool. The endlessly versatile Tenegui. A familiar everyday item for centuries, it continues to find new uses.
My name is Patrick Odongo Kongo, Kenya Sevens rugby player. I'm a winger, and I can